Hello everyone, and welcome to the Synth Talk. There is with me Vosto. Hello Vosto.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here, man.
Yes, very nice to be here with you guys. Hope that everyone is hearing us right. Is there is no problem with our mics or sound. And so let's begin by can you introduce yourself, Vosto?
For anyone who doesn't know me already, I'm Vosto. I made a Synthwave documentary in like 2018. It's now probably the most popular Synthwave documentary on YouTube. But it's not such a big community, even though it's kind of becoming. I don't know. But I made that documentary. I expected a few hundred views, but a lot of people watched it, a lot of artists, and including you, the maker of this amazing channel that we become friends in time. Apart from that documentary that just talks about synthwave in general, I've been making a lot of music. I could have made a lot more, but lazy. Uh, Also, I am also a staff member of Nightride FM. I am one of the two guys who started the station, and now we collaborate together, Nightride FM and the 80s guy. So it's a great. I think it's a great thing, and hopefully we can help the scene for a long time, and that's why we are here today, kind of joining powers to talk about synthwave together, man.
Totally. So I just put the Synthwave documentary link in the chat. Is now pinned at the top of the chat if you wanna look at it. And that's talking about what everything you have done. That's a lot of things already.
Yeah, man. Well, a lot of years passed by. Initially, I was just happy to find the genre. Like
Yeah.
when I found it, it was just some artists that I would see on like New Retrowave or your channel, and a few other channels, like 4 channels on YouTube, with a few artists here and there, but they're all good, all really nice production. And
Yeah.
I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to contribute to it somehow. So that's why I wanted to make a documentary and cover everything that was at that time. We're talking about
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
I
So it's 4 years.
discovered
It's 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
I found the genre in 2017, actually, which is kind of late because
That's okay. That's okay. It could be earlier, but that's okay.
yeah, I think I'm still considered an original gangster, even if I joined in 2017. Like
Kinda.
there were still very few artists in the synthwave spectrum. Now there are a lot, which is a good thing, but also it makes it harder for you to select songs for the channel, right? Because there's probably not
Yeah.
all of those tracks are good, right? How
Yeah.
many?
How many I
What?
get?
Yeah, what's the percentage?
It depends of the seasons, but for example, I mean in general, I can have between I would say maybe 10 and 15 per day.
Oh, that's good.
But in summer that's less. But sometimes it's more like during winter because people don't go outside. They just have to work on their stuff.
And what happens when you don't have time to select tracks? The tracks kind of pile up, and you get like 100
Yeah,
tracks. What
but
happens then?
the problem is that it as it keeps coming and coming, then sometimes you just that's sad to say, but you just forget about it and you just go it's somewhere else in your mind. You don't even remember about it. And even because recently we changed the channel. Before we were doing like 14 uploads per week. Now we have like 3 and 2 live stream per week. We have 3 uploads that are fixed. That's Wednesday we have an album or an EP. The Friday we have a single track, and the Sunday we make a mix. But even with that, even when I remember when we did the 14 tracks, the 14 uploads per week, I still had more. I still had things under my belt or my side. I would say things under my side to upload. I have too much stuff, and as it keeps going, because I get them on Google Doc sheet. It's like an Excel file, so it goes more and more lower and lower, and then you forget to scroll up, and then unfortunately some tracks just go in the dark realm of tracks, even maybe some good ones, but that's the deal with it.
That's just the way it is, I guess.
Yes.
But what about the artists? Like, do you get also, like, you can't say known artists in Synthwave, but maybe there is, like, the Midnight and stuff like that are very known.
Yes.
But then you have, just under that, like people like Turbo Night or something like that. Do you get submissions from just known artists, or do you only get from random people and that's it?
I have both. To be honest, I got a lot of submissions. I would say even most of the submissions are for maybe some unknown, or maybe sometimes from just people I uploaded 1 or 2 track back in the days. For people that I know since like maybe 5, 6, 4, 3 years, and they talk to me maybe on Messenger or on Discord. They sometimes send the track with the submission form, but they also send me the track in my DMs, and sometimes they sure go in front of some people, because it's like, it's a long collaboration. It's been years that I upload them, so that's like maybe I would say it's just what it is. As always, it just when you work with some good clients, you just continue to work with them, and then I try to make room for new ones also.
There is some consistency, isn't it? Like, you can expect a Vosto album every year, for example.
Yes, every year, or maybe every 2 years. We don't know. And even if you watch the channel, if you can look at it right now, if you watch in the videos, you can see that often in a week you're not gonna see oftenly the same name twice, because it's not the purpose of the channel. Though right now with less uploads, sometimes it's kind of
you have to select the best of the best.
Yes.
You have to select the best of the best. And sometimes you have to say to your friends, because, all of us are kind of like friends in Synthwave. And, it's like refusing a friend. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's very hard to say. If I say, hey man, that's really nice for your submission, but it's not too good. Come back later, please. That's so hard. You can say this, because you don't want to, be mean. You don't want to frustrate the people who just worked hard on a track. That's why recently, when I do the live stream, the music review time, it really helps me with for the mixes, because from what I hear, I make a selection at the same time I am reviewing these tracks, so it helps me to then build the mixes.
Yeah, well, I know that if you refuse, let's say, some of my tracks, which never happened so far, so I don't think it happened so far, but if you do, then there's no problems. I can come up in 2 months with something else, maybe like that, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But speaking of new material, I did make something which is going to be released tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow, the 26th, is the I released this thing called Hardware,
Yeah.
which I sent to you, and
Yes.
I spent some time on it, but you know, people like it's a bit minimal as well. Like people would think it's a bit minimal because there's not a million synths coming through. But the thing with this album, I was thinking more to make to limit myself to say, look, I'm going to use these 5 instruments and see what's gonna happen. You know, I have this story in my brain.
Yes.
And I just made track after track, limiting myself, and I hopefully the arrangements and the idea is interesting to listen to from beginning to end.
And you don't have any link to share with us for tomorrow's release? Or not yet?
Maybe you can add it to the description tomorrow or something. Yes. But okay. You know, just saying.
Okay.
People can expect it to appear on the Vosto Bandcamp or on Spotify.
Yeah.
You know,
but talking about releases, how do you see right now the state of Synthwave?
The state of synth. Well, Dennis G is in the chat room. Shout out to him. He runs a show called The State of Synth. I'm also part of that, doing the reporter voice, Vosto Vlad. we do some crazy thing. So the state of synth, generally speaking, well, it's pretty active, I would say. You know, like in the documentary that I made in 2018.
Yes.
I was so excited because that was the peak of Synthwave. 2017, 2018 was the peak of Synthwave, guys. It was just such an energetic place, and songs kept appearing from everywhere, attacking you with awesomeness. It was fresh. It was still fresh, even though the genre existed since 2010, but it felt fresh and it felt good. And all the channels and everything, and you uploading all the songs, they were amazing. So I covered the artists and the channels that they were doing a good work back then. I covered the history up to that point. And so what happened? Why didn't I make a part 2 documentary? Now
part 2 is gonna be hard, huh?
What happened in time? I don't know. Things just kind of stayed the same.
Yes, kinda.
But they also evolved. Like a lot of this cyberpunk stuff started to appear more and more. The synth started to be a bit more aggressive, a bit more inspired from the game Cyberpunk 2077, I guess. The thing is, when I made the documentary, I thought that games like Cyberpunk 2077 will have synthwave music in it. But no, they had their own type of cyberpunk music.
Yes.
And in many cases, I'm sorry to say this, but they ripped off songs from Lorne, like actual samples. But you know, that's like it's not even a conspiracy. It's like kind of already being investigated by music producers.
If you are honest, that they for this game they just did a bad work. So in general, it's I think, like, just to say about this game, people who had like a $3,000 PC had a good time, but everyone else didn't.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Zaid Comics, who's in the chat room, and he is part of it's a project of comic book writing and comic book releasing, and you know, it's not just music and movies that's part of all this. It's also like the comic book scenes. That's all, like, nerds were part of it.
Nice.
As well there. So they released a bunch of comic books also inspired by the 80s. Zaid Comics has one that's in like a GTA Vice City type environment, or Miami Vice, if you haven't played the GTA Vice City game. But it's with monsters and it's with magic, and it's like Magic Cop and all that.
Yeah.
And there was another really cool comic book that was made by another friend called Carl, but he kind of just disappeared, sadly. I don't know what's going on with him. But he made a really cool comic book in space with battles and weapons.
That's a lot of stuff.
like medieval battles in space, and kind of this inspiration from Escape from New York, but in space. So it's great. Anyways, we were talking about the music, right? Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay,
and the inspiration.
Yeah, but in general, I think, from what I hear from Synthwave, I think we had like some big names that were driving the scene some ways. We have like maybe Carpenter Brut, we have Perturbator, or I think that was the two big names really for the scene. I don't.
Two big names.
I don't.
But on the Darksynth place, right?
Yes, but that was the one who were the more known. If you see right now, from where they were and where they are right now, you can see now they are making the Hellfest. They can make a sold out for a lot of for concerts in France, even in the United States, in Eastern Europe. They are known. I mean, they are known internationally. And it's not like the Midnight is known. It's not that much, I think.
No.
In my opinion, it's not that much. It's not.
It's more niche. You're saying that than Perturbator and people like that.
I think it's more niche.
Can go to a metal festival, for example, and it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, but
people have fun anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, for me, I think the Midnight is more niche because it's. I think for me, it's more difficult to enjoy the music, for example, for a concert in general. But even if you might, for example, in France, it's for sure you might have more people that know Carpenter Brut or Perturbator than the Midnight.
Yeah. Well, it's more awesome anyway. Like, I'm sorry if I'm a bit biased here, but I think that the Perturbator and Carpenter Brut, they are original. They came up with something really complex and really, really cool.
Yes.
That's not to say that the Midnight didn't, because I think in that genre of romantic synthwave, they're just the best. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. They have the best instrumentals and synth pop that there is. When they come with the saxophone, they come with the bells, the amazing sound, song arrangement, great mixing too.
But as Nelson is saying, it's because of Hotline Miami, and I totally agree. But not the first one, the second one, because I remember I started to listen hardly to synthwave in 2014, and I started to talk a lot with Perturbator in private when he was releasing Dangerous Days, and after the release of Hotline Miami 2. He got so much popular I couldn't even speak with him anymore. So and only it's when it just went he went more and more popular. He was out of touch from little people like me, or maybe from from viewers that were following him. It's like when you start, you can talk with everyone because you're not really known, so you see the same people that comes over and over and over. But when there's too much people, you can do not have time to talk with everyone. It's too hard.
No, it's. I think you could keep some of your best friends that from the past that kind of connect you to the real you, who you were before you became. Well known, and when you get known, even you as the 80s Guy channel, don't you get a lot of people just kissing your ass in messages on Discord or something?
Yeah. Please upload my music, please. I love you. But just to come back to this, so I think there was Hotline Miami 2 that got released. They were at the same time. There is a Carpenter Brut releases EP3, and we have a Perturbator that released the Uncanny Valley. And then when you started to listen in 2017, 2018, something happens. This is where they started to disconnect from this base. This is where I think. Let me find. they both released an album in 2018. We have a new mod. It was 2017 for Perturbator. That was new model exactly. And 2018 we have Carpenter Brut that released Leather Teeth. And at this point, for me, they started to disconnect from the scene. And because when you see Perturbator went more and more in the metal style, even if you listen to his last release, that
it's like metal industrial.
Yeah, and it's even like you have even more. It's more like cold wave.
No, I can see that. I really liked it though. I liked the new model. I think it's a sweet spot for Perturbator to become because he's more original, or like it's just the peak of his production or something.
But they helped to the scene to evolve, and as they moved on to make something else, because they they realized that they had already made everything they could make about this scene, and they moved on. And I think the scene didn't follow this change.
No.
Because, like I'm reading the chat, someone say we forgot Kavinsky. I think it's the real start, and I don't really agree with this. It's kind of a start, but first it's
part of it.
It's part of it, but first it's more Sebastian than Kavinsky, because we have to give Caesar give Caesar back to Caesar. I think it's
I know that saying, yeah.
Yeah, because that's Sebastian that made almost all the tracks of the Outrun album. So I don't know if it's Nightcall, that was Kavinsky who made it, but I'm not even sure.
No, I don't know the details. I just know it's Kavinsky.
Yeah, because even if you look at it, artists, you had the artists like Desire, like College, like Symmetry, Electric, exactly, that was already making music in the late 2000, like 2008, 2009. Even when you watch the Bronson movie by Nicholas Winding Refn, you have already some synthwave in this. It was in 2009, 2 years before Drive. So there was already something. And
so we can say that the real origin of the synthwave could be more into this kind of French scene of house that inspired from retro movies and games.
Yes. And as Nelson said, it's not a restart, but it became popular, and I agree with this, because that's Drive that made it kind of mainstream for this kind of music in 2011. Because everyone was saying, whoa, what is this? What is this soundtrack by Cliff Martinez? Whoa. And that's how it went. And because of Drive, you have Hotline Miami, because Drive was the first inspiration for Hotline Miami. And
Hotline Miami brought the darker side of scene.
Darker. Even if you listen at the first soundtrack of the first Hotline Miami, it's not dark. It's the second one that it's more dark. Even the first one is more house. You have even Miami Disco. It's more brighter than the second one.
I see. I only know the second one then.
Oh, you didn't play both?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna end the chat right now. No,
okay, good.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. But if with all this backstory with these two guys, I know there is a lot. I mean, it's a big scene with a lot of artists that made the synthwave as it is now. But when you look at it, when they started to move on, I think it's been maybe 4 years now, they kind of changed, because we have Carpenter Brut that worked on a movie soundtrack. He released his Laser Terror, that is that is not like his previous works. I think the scene didn't move a lot since.
Because they wanted a piece of the pie, they just made it into a genre. They took the Carpenter Brut bass and they made it into a genre, and then everyone made the same bass for years, and that's just what it is.
Yes, because even someone in the chat said, I can't read your name because it's in Russian. They say, I like Dance with the Dead the most. I also like Dance with the Dead, But the problem is, they started like in 2013 with Out of Body, and since there is some tracks I like in the last release, but they never changed really their music. It's always the same. I mean, it's like I think you can hear 2013 music and 2022 music. You can even maybe say from where is it from the first album, is it from the last, or you have maybe to be a really big lover of Dance with the Dead to be sure.
I think a lot of people who listen to the music in that time, 2014, and from 2013 to 2016 or something like that, I think those people wanted that sound. They wanted what we can call the real synthwave, if I can say like that. But once people started to stray away too much, like they wanted easy listening synth music inspired from the 80s, right?
Yes.
And people are straying away so much that the synthwave is diluting a little bit, or it's going far away, and it's not so easy to listen to anymore. And we're gonna have only small niche communities of let's say Darksynth or space, like mid-tempo and all that stuff.
Yes. Well, that's my fault for mid-tempo. That's because of my other channel. So I'm sure people like it more. Sometimes, to be honest, now I listen more to my secondary channel music that from the 80s guy. Because the problem is after 7 years after listening always the same music, it's for sure is kind of boring.
And I think people who really liked the style back then, they remained with the songs that they liked then. Like if someone likes the Midnight or Time Cop 1983, they're not even gonna listen to their new stuff. They're gonna listen to the old stuff because it takes them to the nostalgia of the nostalgia.
Yes.
If you know what I mean. It's like a nostalgia-ception going on. Like they're nostalgic about what they were listening in 2014.
But this is general in the society actually right now. This is a general topic you can bring even to general society right now, because even if you look like, for example, that's just a real example, that if you look at Naughty Dog, we are remaking The Last of Us for PS5. The game was released in 2010 on PS3. It was remade entirely for PS4 in 2014, and now they are remaking the game for PS5 for 2033. It's only been 10 years.
Yeah. Also, Skyrim has had like 1 million relaunches. They're always selling it because it sells. And people buy it and they want it.
Yes, and just to answer some questions in the chat, I think we can all count All Vision as synthwave. Not really synthwave. I would say more cyberpunk and mid-tempo, because it's more like in this way. Someone says Ectoplag is one of the top 5 in the synth game currently. Well, because he's changing the things a bit. He's making more horror synth. It's something different from synthwave, and we need something different. And we have also Rex Balls that said synthwave is dead. The typical phrase we hear every time: synthwave is dead.
Yet we still have new releases all the time.
But I think the thing we have, maybe we can say
the saying is kind of true, because, like I said, people when they want to listen to synthwave, like the synthwave style, they listen to the 2014 stuff. They listen to old Kavinsky Nightcall. They listen to the Midnight, but not the new stuff.
Yes.
They listen to old Perturbator, old Carpenter Brute, and that stuff.
Yes.
But at the same time, we are making new type of synthwave, but there's less interest. I guess
because we have to make more and more. I think to evolve the scene, you have to make a cross with other style. That's how you evolve it, because you cross styles.
Yeah, but like I said before, I think if there's too much of cross style, the sound becomes not so easy to listen to.
Yes.
As you know, when you were listening to Nightcall, it was just, or like College and Electric Youth with like a real human being and all that. It's just, you know, the bass just goes dun 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 dun, and then you have like a simple lead synthesizer, and there's a simple drum and a nice to listen vocalist.
Yes.
And it's satisfying and it's easy, you know, but it's good. Like you always come back to those tracks, and it was awesome. The thing is, there was like 100 who copied the style and made the same thing, and then in worse way production wise. So it kind of diluted. You can't make that. It was already made.
Yes.
So you have to evolve it, but you are evolving it in a way which not many people are interested. So I don't know what we're gonna do, man. We're stuck.
The thing is always do you want to do what you want to do, or do you do what people wants to listen to? And it's also really hard to make a mix between both, because sometimes you can make a track and think it's really good, but finally it's disconnected from what people want to hear, and then you make something people may want to hear, and they don't like it. It's like what I'm going to do. And for the Synthwave is dead, I don't think Synthwave is dead. And yes, I hear the voice. I don't think it's dead. I think it's maybe already kind of obsolete.
Like it went like a storm. It came like a storm. A lot of people were interested in it. Even if the advertising world started to use it, man. I saw just random advertisements for normal day-to-day things, and they use Synthwave music and Synthwave aesthetics.
Yes, but the problem of Synthwave is because it's based off nostalgia from an era. But it's already, if you look at, let's say we start Synthwave was created kinda in 2008 with a college album that was released at this time, or Desire, or everything else from Italians Do It Better. It's been already 14 years that we have a scene that exists that is based on nostalgia. You can make it's. I think even if you look at it, we have the Synthwave is longer than the 80s from itself. The 80s was 10 years. 10 years from 89. The Synthwave is 14 years old, so it's older than the nostalgia it's trying to give an homage to. So what do you do with it? You have to make it evolve, because it can't last forever.
Well, you can stretch it a little bit more, because I think that there was still the feeling of 80s until 1991, 1992. Like if you look at Terminator 2, Terminator, you know?
Yes, but at least if you look at it, Terminator 2, it's already some 90s. I mean, even if you look like the aesthetic from Terminator 2, it's already some 90s aesthetic. We have no more the 80s light feeling. It's already, because it's
have some modern graphics as well.
Because even if you look at it, even because of the budget, because the movie budget really went high in some couple of years. It was the first one was $6 million budget. The second one was 100 million. So that's already a step forward from this.
In Terminator 1, they used like that stop motion skeleton. And you could see the frames if you watch the movie. It's all stuttery.
Yeah.
It's very...
Yeah, but I like it, so that's okay.
I like it too. It increased the feeling of, anxiety and all that.
Yeah. Even if you look at it, from... okay, let's take a new wave band. We cannot take Depeche Mode, because it's my favorite one. You take 87, you have Music for the Masses, typical new wave stuff, really nice. You have Violator in 90, that's already some kind of mixing, because you have already moving toward cold wave. And then you have 93 with Songs of Faith and Devotion, because Dave Gahan went on a cure from cocaine. And when you listen to Songs of Faith and Devotion, it's only cold wave. They already moved out from new wave. It's already something else. It's already something from the 80s.
No, I can see that. But the 80s stuff, 87, I think that's what most people remember, like our parents and stuff like that. But and they also inspired things in since you mentioned Depeche Mode, they inspired some groups even in Eastern Europe, even because our 80s was different than your 80s.
Yes.
The 80s in the Eastern Europe was all like Soviet Russia influence.
But it came after.
No, it came then. If you had smugglers, because it was like the movies, man. We had music smugglers and VHS tape smugglers. So even if it was illegal to listen or watch Western productions, people would still, there was like one guy who had the video and knew this other guy who had VHS tapes smuggled, and everyone would go in that person's apartment and they would watch it together.
But so, you have to be discreet, silently.
Yeah, and he would make money too. He was like, you want to watch this VHS tape in my apartment? Okay,
let's go.
$1 each, please.
Little business.
But what I was trying to say is these groups, through this smuggling culture, they influenced the rock and synth groups in Eastern Europe.
Yes.
In Russia, for example, you have even that song which became a meme, Nazare, by Alliance. Like that group is influenced by Western music, but they made it in their own way, their own special Russian way. In a way, is more impressive, I would say, even though I don't understand any lyrics. I really like to listen to that Nazare track, and like that band, there are a bunch of other bands that I discovered. And since you mentioned Depeche Mode, there's a band called Technology in Russia, and it's like pure copy of Depeche Mode.
It's a ripoff.
Yeah, they didn't release many songs, but they did release some songs, and they were like copies of the original Depeche Mode, but in Russian language. And it's still cool to listen to, man. It's like a ripoff, but it's still good to listen. It's like the Darksynth scene, You have a lot of ripoffs of Carpenter Brut, but some of them are actually really interesting to listen to, right?
And as you mentioned Carpenter Brut, we're gonna make just a little break, and by listening the perfect track that makes nowadays music with 80s one, that will be the remix Maniac by Carpenter Brut. So we will see you in 5 minutes. Hope you enjoy the track. Welcome back. Hope you enjoy Maniac by Carpenter Brute. And thank you for everyone following the live stream. Thank you to Nachi, Johnny Fire, Kakehashi, Zonzerning, Nelson, Rex Balls, everyone who's following right now the stream. So, do you like this track? Yes, really interesting. And thank you, Dennis, also. Yes, a shout out to everyone. So, do you like this track or not? Ah. Yes. Yes. Oh, hello to Sandy and Von Hans, who just join us. Balls in. Damn. Okay. I'm gonna cut the stream. Cut the stream. Ah. He's everywhere. Of oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In the selections, there was mostly what we call Italo disco, which was the European, entirely synth-based music with drum machines, with the Lindrum drum machines.
Something hard. You were muted. Sorry, you were muted on the stream, so people was like,
"What?
We don't hear you."
Bro, you don't need to mute because when you put the music, like I'm using push to talk anyways. It's all good.
Okay, he's back. Okay.
Well,
you were saying go back.
Rewind.
Okay, go back.
Yeah. So when it comes to synthwave inspiration, like a synthesizer inspiration in Eastern Europe, Russia is very heavily influenced, and all those other countries in the Yugoslavia and stuff like that. But Romania, which is a country where I'm from, it wasn't synth inspired. It was more rock and roll inspired, rock inspired. Like when it comes to the Western influence, people liked natural music. They liked drums and distorted guitar. So you have the new wave stuff, which is great. But in the discotheque culture, so not in the live music scene, in the live band music scene, there was discotheques and there was the magic feeling that you had in the disco clubs in the 80s, because that's where the magic happened. Like in Italy especially, that's where the dancing culture started in Western Europe. in the 80s, on the beaches especially. You had very interactive and big investments in discotheques, which is the word that they used for clubs. And they had robots. They had like this new, entirely produced synthesizer music, which is called Italo Disco and Space Synth. And later out, it spread it through Germany and France and all the other countries that were producing synthesizer music. But the Italian scene was the strongest. And everyone who went there in those disco nights, they knew it was something special. The dancing, the way people were wearing strange clothes, and they were listening to this futuristic music made with synthesizers. I liked my father's reel-to-reel tapes. I was born in the 90s, but the 80s is what I liked, and I discovered from my dad's music, which he had a lot of it because he was DJing at the Romanian dictator's son club. He owned the club. Well, only the state-owned clubs. So, you know, but he was a DJ at one of the main places where people were going to dance. Normal people were allowed to go, but it was mostly foreign tourists who were shown these places, and sportsmen and culture people and stuff like that. The state banned the music to be commercialized in the country, but you could listen to it in the disco club, and it still had the same magical feeling that it did in the West.
Yes.
So I liked it, and I wanted to produce it. And when I discovered this music, the synthwave style, I had a lot of inspiration from the Italo disco stuff, which not many people know it. A lot of it sounds lame because of the voices, but the synthesizers themselves, the way their tracks are arranged, and using those classic drum machines like Lindrum and whatnot, it's just a gold mine of sound.
Wow, that's a big stuff you got there.
It's quite a story, huh?
Yes.
You have a nice Italo disco artists in French that I liked.
Which
Also,
one?
like Cleo and Jean-Pierre Madère.
Oh. Okay. I don't really know them, so I can't
Cleo,
say.
there's a beautiful song by Cleo called Faces. I don't know what it even means. And then there's Jean-Pierre Madère with the song called Un pied devant de l'autre or some shit. I'm not good. I'm not good with French, but I know I like it a lot.
It's a Un pied devant l'autre.
Yeah, that one. It's a really beautiful track. It has the perfect synthesizer. It probably doesn't have the best lyrics, but it wasn't about the lyrics. It was just about the sound and the magical feeling you'd feel in the discotheques, man.
Yeah.
Turbo Knight, a guy that we both know, and he's friends with us, and you upload his music on this channel.
Yes.
He was first making space synth music, which is a subgenre of Italo disco that is purely instrumental, and it's about explorations in space.
Space, always the space.
And when he switched to, well, he made drum and bass too, but when he switched purely to synthwave music, he stayed with the science fiction influence of synthwave. And if you read on like Wikipedia about synthwave, you will see that one of the main themes of synthwave is science fiction inspiration. There's a horror movie inspiration, there's science fiction inspiration, and science fiction soundtrack creators like Vangelis and we know the famous Blade Runner soundtrack, and there's Jean-Michel Jarre, of course, and there's Tangerine Dream from, who made for a bunch of movies in America as well. So that's the science fiction stuff. There's the horror movie stuff, and there's the romantic stuff, with like Time Cop 1983 and the Midnight, and everyone who uses that VST saxophone. Well, the Midnight uses a real saxophone player, which is why they're the most known band in the genre.
Yeah.
Because the VST saxophone, it just sounds like a placeholder, you know?
Yes, always.
Like Hans Zimmer, you know, when he composes tracks, he does it first on the computer with virtual synthesizers, and then he just uses the violins and like stuff that you use in Contact. For those who produce music know what I'm talking about. Like that's not the stuff that ends in the movie. All the violin and the stuff gets replaced, and the trumpets and it gets replaced with real performers. So if you're gonna use a saxophone VST, that's kind of lame. I had the discussion with Master Boot Record, who is a great like metal synth 8-bit producer, and I was asking him about VST guitars, if he knows any, and he was like, "No, man, don't use VST guitars because it's kind of like the VST saxophone, you know. What you can do is make a synthesizer yourself in Zero More Massive that has its own character that kind of sounds like a distorted guitar, but it's not. But you can tell it's a computer. Like make a computer guitar on purpose, because that's kind of how he did his Master Boot Records sound, by making it obvious that it's all computerized music. And he even took this alter ego that represents an AI magical computer or something like that, because he has all the sigils and you can decrypt them and end up in his super secret IRC hideout, IRC network.
Well, that's something big. Because you talk a lot about movies right now. You talk about Hans Zimmer. You talk about movies in general. You talk just before the music. You talk about Terminator and 1 and 2. And we talk about nostalgia also. So my question is, have you seen Top Gun Maverick?
The thing is, I wanted to see it in the cinema, but I didn't. Like, I've had things in life, I guess, and I just didn't get to see it. So I didn't want to like get a copy on the internet or something, because I wanted to see it in the cinema. So if it still runs in the cinema, I might go, but I can't go this weekend, because this weekend I'm going to the seaside. Yeah. And I'm gonna relax at the seaside, and then I'm gonna see it when I come back. I've heard good things about it though.
Yeah, try to see it, because to be honest, I think it's really a better movie than the first one. The first one has not really drama. It doesn't even know where it's going. When you know about how it was made, it's just the two producers was high on coke, and they saw some books about planes and the army, and they just said, let's make a movie based on this.
But that's a lot of. That's how it was in the 80s, man. It was rock out, improvise, no rules. And a lot of those movies have their own charm, and people like to watch them.
It has its charms, but
they become icons, like Terminator 1. The people who made that didn't even expect it to be such a success. And it turned out to be like memory, like it's engraved in our memories. And that soundtrack, I have a cover, by the way, on my other YouTube channel, not this one.
That's a
where
time.
I have the Terminator soundtrack on it, and I try to replicate every sound in it and the correct time signature, because it's a really crazy time signature, man. It doesn't even exist. The way it happened is he pushed the loop button, but the machine who was making the loop didn't make a perfect loop, so it ended up having a really strange time signature.
I see.
And a lot of people who make the cover, they make it wrong, but I made it correct.
But even as you say, we were making movies like that. It's not because it was made cult that when you watch it now it's good. Because even if you watch Terminator, you can watch Predator, you can watch a lot of 80s movie, and it's still good. But if you watch Top Gun, I'm going to tell you for example.
I liked it, man.
I know Top Gun.
On. Yeah, I liked it.
But
I liked it because
I first saw it like I think
but
2 months ago.
You are an incredible French art critic, man.
Yeah, but if you watch it, you can't even understand what's happening in the planes because the shot are bad. The editing is bad. It just confused as hell.
Maybe, but it was just kick-ass to watch it anyway. I liked it. I liked the action and the motorcycle that he drives.
I think I'm gonna show you the right movies then.
The leather jacket.
No, you have a leather jacket now?
I have, but I don't use it.
You have to go to the beach with the leather jacket then.
No.
You have to.
Like in that video, Man's Not Hot, if you know that meme. It's not Synthwave, but it's funny.
Okay, but yeah, I think just to think about Top Gun Maverick, because if you see right now how it's making on the box office, it's now the most grossing movie for Tom Cruise of all its career. And I think
he played in a bunch of crap movies, to be honest.
Okay, you're gonna talk better about Tom Cruise. I'm gonna have to send the T-800 to kill you.
No, I just seen this movie a few weeks ago, which I've seen before. It's made in 2000s, which is called The War of the Worlds.
Okay, if you're gonna shit talk about War of the Worlds, I'm gonna mute you.
Well, some of the acting in it is a bit. It makes me laugh, you know.
The acting can be sometimes like a bit messy, but I'm more focused about the cinematography. If you focus on the cinematography, it's really awesome. So
I like the the big tripod machines, of course, and some of the sounds used in that. Like some of the sounds of the machines themselves have been sampled and used in electronic music, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a song by Virus Syndicate in like urban music, like kind of like dubsteppy culture, and they sampled the sound out of that and made it like a song out of it. This is really cool, man. And I like the scene with the guy who's like a bit crazy, and they get in a house.
It's Tim Robbins.
Yeah. It was a crazy character. I was like, so a bit of safety, but this guy is a bit crazy and he might get us killed because he makes too much noise.
As always, it's
too much attention.
Humans are more dangerous than the aliens.
I can't consider Tom Cruise a hero in that one because, he just kills that guy. He could just knock him out, like non-lethally knock him out, and then. It would have been the same result. Why did he have to completely kill him, like, brutally,
Because he knows there is no right way. Because even if he knocks him out, he's still in the house. And he has to mute him now. He's scared for his daughter. Sometimes, because the problem is always when you watch a movie, we think as being a viewer, we don't think about what was, if I was in this position right now, with aliens that can kill me and my daughter, and with this man that's making so much noise and that can also kill you. What do you do?
Well, you do what you gotta do, I guess.
Yeah.
But Predator is my favorite alien movie, to be honest. The one with Arnold, where he...
Yes. So please, let's not talk about the others.
I like the second one too, man.
The second one is it's kind of funny, but it's not as good.
No, I thought it was good, but the first one is the cheesy action pumped thing you want to see, definitely.
But it's not that cheesy because if you think about it, it's already something different from what you see in the 80s because you think it's gonna be like they are very strong or strong men, like you have this homoerotic kind of thing of the 80s with big muscles and everything.
Big muscles, yeah.
Yeah, but it's already something new from the 80s because there's in the middle of the movie they just show that they are just bad as hell and they all get killed by the Predator, and it's the Predator that is the that's the focus of the thing. You don't see things like this in the 80s because so often it's
Yeah, man, but if it bleeds, you can kill it.
yes, if it beats, we can kill it. But
Yeah, no,
I made study in cinemas, so I see a lot of things now.
I know. You made some amazing film critics on. You had a website or blog or
Yes.
something.
But even one of my teachers said like the predator in the movie is really representation is the woman. Even if his mouth is like an open vagina, so.
Yeah, and Arnold gets to destroy it. Yeah.
So this is how you get a nice teacher.
Yeah, man. There are also some less known movies that I liked. Like someone Van Damme played in them. There's one with like some robots or something in the wasteland. I don't remember. There's like Cyborg, I think it's called. I don't know.
Oh.
But there's also another one that I don't know what it's called. But there are some action movies that inspires this kind of science fiction action muscle atmosphere that you hear in Synthwave.
Yes.
And that's the kind of stuff that I also want to make. Like, but my songs always end up relaxing though, even if I try to make them more action.
But you know what I can propose you, because you talk about music and inspiration from movies. You sent me some of your music recently, so maybe we can listen to one of yours, so people can see what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Drop it.
We drop it? Okay, so people, we're gonna listen to Dreadwire feat. The Institute 91 by Vosto. So hope you guys enjoy the track. So that was Dreadwire Feed the Institute 91 by Vosto. So
Yeah, actually, it's an and the Institute 91, but the thing is, on DistroKid music releasing platform, they didn't have that option back then. So I think you had to put featuring if you wanted to have a collaborate thing. But now they have it, so now I can put and Vosto and Turbo Night, Vosto and the Institute, Vosto and BBK. So it's good now.
What can you tell us about this music?
About the music, well, this track captures the whole action vibe of the 80s and brings it with some modern sounds as well. Like some of the drops that you hear are a little bit dubstep influenced, but not, when people hear dubstep, they imagine Skrillex and stuff, but that's not the type that I'm talking about. It's like more deeper dubstep. But I did it in a way that it's not just wob wob wob, because everyone can do that. I did it in a way that it's the 80s, like if the 80s were today.
Yes.
And that's what I want to do, I want to capture the feeling of all these movies, Predator, Escape from New York, Kickboxer, Cyborg, Terminator, just you name it, all these, that type of atmosphere, and Blade Runner, of course. And bring it today and the sound of today somehow. But I'm a bit out of date, to be honest, with the sound of today. I don't know what it is, but when I'm producing something, I just I try to do a nice combination so that it works also from an identity perspective. I don't just go, I'm gonna make a random song now. I kind of think of a vision, of a small little story, which is why I hired some comic book artists to make the cover of that particular single and to convey that action vibe. And you see two guys in a military car shooting at a big what looks like a worm from Dune.
Yes, I see what you're meaning. So I like the track. It has a real nice feeling in it. Pretty atmospheric, pretty darkish also. It has some brighter parts in it. But I think in overall that's you get the right feeling you just talk about the it could really fit in a 80s movie. And that's what we are looking for when we listen to some this kind of tracks. Even if you're like you said, even if you're reading like a comic book, as it's the cover art of the track, it does give you the right mood to listen to this.
Yeah, there are some production things that are not so great, but like you say, overall I think it's a good track, and that's why I released it.
Yeah.
There's a time when in the production phase when you're like, it's not finished, but at some point you have to be, okay, fine, it's finished, I will release it and just move to the next project,
Yes.
Turbo Night tells me there was a bit too much of a side chain in it, which probably could be true, It's always interpretation and perspective.
Yes, but that's often what happens. But then, like you have the feeling you're finished with the track, and then there's someone that comes and says, "Oh, maybe it should change this and change that," and you're like, "Oh no, I'm already moved on to something else."
Yeah, well, to me, what matters is only your opinion, my friend. Only your opinion.
Only mine?
Okay. Only you matters if it goes on the 80s channels or not. Because this is the channel for the legacy. The legacy that of Synthwave. When people think of Synthwave in the future, they will come to the 80s guy. The people who used to listen to the Synthwave music in the past, and they would just want to listen to the past, they will come to the 80s guy because he has all of the tracks.
Yeah. And to answer, because someone says Solo Dolo asked if there were existing a playlist with all Maniac Synth uploads, I don't think it does exist, because there was some other channel back in a few years You had like you had I think you have Maniac Synth. You have someone called Luigi Donatello, and another one that was, I don't know the name. It was VHS something, but both of them got deleted from.
Oh man, yeah, maybe they didn't have permission from the artists and stuff.
I remember from VHS it was something like he had a problem with Dead Life because he uploaded one Dead Life album, and it made a lot of views, and he didn't wanted to share the money that it was made. And for Maniac Synth, it disappeared from like a blink. Sometimes later, someone created a channel that was called Synth Maniac, but it didn't last.
No, because the boom for the Synthwave channels happened in 2014, 2017. So
yeah,
if you miss that train, then you are not relevant.
But right now it's like there is free channel on channels on YouTube about Synthwave.
Well, there's Thanatos, there's the new Retrowave.
Yes.
And you guys are the main guys. But there's also Nero77, who uploads strictly 80s sounding music.
And he's making the montages with 80s movies.
Yeah, I like that. He's a passionate guy. Well, he's not a purist. Like, you don't need to sound exactly like the 80s. Like, if you have if you have sidechain in your track, that's not a problem, you know?
Yes.
But the song has to give the 80s feeling, is what I'm saying. Because a lot of synthwave tracks now don't use samples and synths that make you think of the 80s. So he selects only the people who do make you think of the 80s. That's what I'm trying to do, man. It's about excitement. Let's use this synthwave. Otherwise, we're gonna die. Because people come to synthwave because it has the 80s movie and stuff influence. So let's not throw it away. Like, we can do modern stuff, but let's try and keep it authentic. And if you don't feel that way, let's go and do other styles.
Yeah.
Am I a bit too harsh here?
No. But right now, I started to do some other trying to make some other new content with these live streams. But to be honest, always I like to do them. But it always feels like I'm disconnected from my viewers. I really don't know where are my viewers. That was always my biggest problem in general with the channel. Because when you have 2071...
272,000.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, 271,000 subscribers. Yeah. Two.
One.
Two subscribers, and then we make these lives even when I make music review time.
Bro, and people like music, man.
Yeah, but you saw the viewer count is like right now it's at 17 on the other streams, or like maybe some 30. You mean, where are the people? Where are the subscribers? What's happening when I make my uploads? Why my uploads are making so less numbers?
Lot of... Look, man, YouTube is a giant place. And when people subscribe, they just do it because they might have stumbled upon a video that they like. And they're like, oh, I kind of like this channel. And they subscribe. It doesn't mean that they're going to be fans for life. You don't know if they click that notification button either, They just subscribed, and that's it. If they come back, they come back. If not, not. But you know who's your number one fan? Damien Stark.
Yes, always in the comment, always.
Not in the live streams, but in the comments of the uploads of the music videos themselves. So you've got him. But if all else fails, you've got Damien Starks.
Yeah, but sometimes when we can talk about motivation in general, when you try to make new stuff, you try to make things that you think people will like and will click on this and will make them come. You make these things, and that doesn't work. The motivation really falls down pretty quickly because you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, like maybe because to be honest.
And you have all these people who send you tracks. They send you tracks. They want you to look at their tracks and upload them and give them views, and send people to their Spotify or Bandcamp. but they never come to comment on the videos themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they just upload to you, and then they don't comment on any of the videos
what
of
is the
other
domain Stark?
music.
We have domain Stark. It's
Look,
not Daniel.
I send tracks to you,
Yes.
but I also sometimes I also check out other uploads and I comment.
Yeah. I know. The thing is, it's you don't know if really. I didn't even really talk about it, but you don't know what's. I mean, in the. I am losing the word, but what is really happening on the channel? I mean, in the back. What's happening? What you're not seeing. For example,
they're held hostage by predators.
Exactly, but back in 2000, I mean, it was maybe, if I don't remember, it was late. No, it was in 2018. 2018. The channel was like making 120,000 views every 2 days. It was like something pretty stagnant. So it was like even.
When was
like,
that? 2017.
It was like in 2018, 2020. It was like 60k views per day. And
that's when the genre peaked. I told you.
Yeah. But when you at the end of 2018 and now, the channel is around 50k per 2 days. It's like 25k per day. And it's like it's
still okay, man. Some people have 2 views per day on their channels.
Yeah, but because nothing changed back then. Nothing changed really. But when you think when you start something, it's only going to grow up because you're more and more have a fan base. People talk about it, and people are more and more following it. And then when it goes,
I guess
it
people
just drops. It just
forgot about it, and they left to do some other stuff in their life.
Yeah.
And if they do want to listen to some synthwave, like I said, they'll come and listen to the old videos, the old Perturbator videos from 2014 or something,
Yeah. But as someone says, like Solo Dolo said, you make things for you. If people like it, it's a bonus. The problem is that as the channel is a promotion channel, for me also the purpose, it's one, I'm gonna say it's to try to make a living with it, and two, I want more people to watch it because one, it's gonna make me earn more money for sure, but second, it's gonna make more views for the artists that are shown on the channel. So it's a win-win as always. So when you try to make things right and it doesn't work, so it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Even when I'm trying to read the comments, the big artist attracts more. The videos I make is out of it's Solo Dolo says the videos I make is out of love for the music and the art. Or Ryan Obrose that says there are too many synthwave pretenders making electronic music on their computer with plugins. Man,
I would like to add something to that. Well, most synthwave producers use plugins, man. Like, for example, we were talking about Deadlife. He makes music with his computer, but the songs sound good, so it's fine. I make music from my computer. Everyone makes. Man, synthwave is known from being a scene composed out of mostly basement studio amateurs.
Yes.
But I think everyone is doing a good job. Well, not everyone, but what I would say is a lot of people who make average sounding things with no soul, with nothing being expressed in the artwork, and you can those people could be pretenders because they're just trying to farm Spotify plays to make some dollars, and that sucks, because it oversaturates the market, and then you don't get to see the people who really do care about the music and want to present their listeners with something really cool.
Yeah. But
speaking of this type of artists that are kind of basementy, well, we don't want to be insulting, or that have home studios. Which are your favorites? This guy, like, not, it's no Perturbators, no Carpenter Built, smaller artists.
Smaller artist?
Yeah.
I gotta choose. Damn.
Yeah, you gotta choose. Make like a... you choose 5 and then I choose 5.
Maybe I'm gonna take... I really like Isidore. If you,
Yeah,
do, you
really
do you count it as a small?
Yeah, he is under that umbrella, I would say. Sorry, Isidore.
Yeah. Sorry, Isidore, but
you're not perturbator level yet.
The problem is between, you know. He's kind of known, but not enough. Let's think. So I said 1. Say it 1 on your sides at the same time.
Okay, I say 1. Okay. So if I say 1, I have to choose Donbor, because Donbor comes with an excellent dark retro vibe, and he is from Argentina, and reminds me of the Argentinian mafia.
We have Volta with us. I could say Volta because I really like Volta music.
Yeah, you can say Volta.
He's with us, so I'm
Shout out Volta.
Shout out Volta. Hey, one of his album is one of the most viewed on the channel.
What's the name?
It's Sigils. And he has a lot of... I uploaded
That's cool.
also...
What's the style? I don't actually know.
Darksynth.
Describe it to me.
It's Darksynth, always.
What style? Like Carpenter Brut influenced or... or more...
it's pretty aggressive, so I'm gonna say it's a mix between both. Between Perturbator and Carpenter Brut, so...
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you said 2 so far. So I only said 1. So Donbor was my first choice. The second choice would be Turbonite.
Oh.
Because I like Turbonite, man. He makes amazing synth that's a lot of science fiction inspired. Maybe I'm not the fan when he uses female vocals on, but I like his instrumental stuff a lot, especially his Space Cowboy Saga, because I like cowboys and I like space and I like his concept album. Yeah, so yes. Turbonite. What's your next pick?
I'm gonna take King Stefan.
King Stefan.
It's just Stephen King in the reversed, and it's pretty much horror synth and darksynth. It doesn't. I think I don't have. It's not from Perturbator or Carpenter Brut. He has his own style. Arcade Age. I'm from France.
Yeah, I'm from Romania. It's an unknown place in Eastern Europe.
Yeah. So what's yours?
Okay. So my third pick would be. Maybe it would be Signal Void, but actually I would select when he was called Nymphs. Nymphs.
I remember.
Yeah, you have some of him uploaded on your channel.
Yes.
And my favorite song from him is a simple song called Eidolon. That's like a science fiction amazing track that has some, it brought a new context to the synthwave music. It made it more more high tech, let's say. He brought a more high tech. That's largely due to his trance background, because he like to make trance music. That's what's beautiful about this music. Some people come from metal, some people come from trance, some people come from space synth, some people come from synth pop.
They come from everywhere.
They come from everywhere, and this is why it's worth to support this genre, because if we don't have it, it's gonna suck. Anyway, that's what my third pick. So we have 2 more artists to pick. What is your next one?
I'm gonna take Fiction.
Fiction. I always said fictions.
Fictions. You can say fictions, but Fiction is really say as a freak.
Yeah. I like it. I like how you said it. Fiction. We made an interview with him on this channel, I think, and you can check it out. Type Fiction's interview on the 80s Guy, and you will find it.
Yes.
Darksynth artist.
Also, always. I'm like almost choosing Darksynth artist, except Isidore.
Well, you like your horror 80s inspiration, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Even though when we talked about 80s movies, you never mention horror. You only mention action.
It depends. We can talk about horror, but maybe next time.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your fourth.
Yeah.
All right, my fourth one for today will be Misanthropics.
Oh.
Because he is a synthwave artist that focuses on hacking. He has like hacker music, you know?
I think he's Brazilian, I think.
Yeah, Brazilian. So I picked an Argentinian, and now I picked a Brazilian.
Yeah, that's nice.
There you go. I'm just I'm paying my respects to the South American mafia.
Yeah.
If I don't, they're gonna kill me. So.
Totally.
Just kidding. But no, Misanthropics is cool, man. He has that hacker vibe. It's really, really nice. I also collaborated with him. A track called Quangrade Mark 2 or Mark 11.
Yeah.
However you want to read
I
it.
see.
Very hacker vibes. Next and final.
I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose We Are Magonia.
Another Darksynth.
Darksynth always. And they are French, so you know, I have to choose someone that.
You only choose French people.
No, I don't choose French.
The French arrogance.
Isidore is Serbian.
Serbian, yeah.
Yes, Volta is Belgian.
Oh, okay.
Belgium
is close to France. It's close to France.
I think, I think King Stefan is from Argentina.
Maybe.
And Fiction is French. We Are Magonia is French. Okay.
French.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there are many we could pick. My fifth one, I guess, would be Neon Nox.
Oh, okay.
Just so I don't I have to shout out something from who pays respects to also the house influence of synthwave, like because Neon Nox does synthwave that is very much like house music, but with 80s retro elements. So that's how synthwave started, from house music in French, but he's from Sweden, I think. So Neon Nox, that Iron Skullet made a kind of bad review for his album. He said it was sounding like a tin can. So it remained an ongoing joke that we say in the Discord whenever we see Neon Nox. But in reality, the Neon Nox music is pretty good. I like it. Some people may find it repetitive, the loops. But, for me, it's all about, if you make loops-based music, they have to have good sound design. And then it's great. I can listen to loops, no problem. Isidore, I've had a conversation with him too, and he disagrees. He thinks that you have to compose the whole... If you have a 4-minute track, you have to compose 4 minutes of music. You can't just repeat sections,
Yeah.
But I'm not of that opinion. I think you can do that. It's interesting if you can do that. It's cool. But it's also interesting if you can make a loop that's really interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I see. Okay. So that was the best top 5 we ever did.
No. We can do more if we're ever gonna talk again. Look, if we're gonna make interviews, because we are planning to make some interviews, like me and the 80s guy over here are going to co-host the show, and we are going to interview a bunch of people. So if you are a synthwave artist and you want to be interviewed, well, first of all, you have to have a big following, otherwise you're not gonna get interviewed.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding, but also not kidding. I don't know. But, we have the people from Synthwave who we would like to interview. and we're gonna interview them. And in these interviews, towards the end, we can do something like this: who
Yes.
they like from Synthwave, and we can all mention 5 artists again that are
Yes.
not well known, because
We
this is
can-
good also for people who search for new things to listen to, right?
Always. So I think it's gonna be the end of the show, because it was a
Yes,
it
sir.
was a, it was a try. It was a try. It's a nice first try. So I think it will happen again. It's been like
It's good. It's 1 hour and
Yeah.
40. We planned for 1 hour and 30.
yeah.
So it's all good,
Yes, and sorry for the bad beginning, because YouTube did some shit with the stream
Yeah,
key.
you wouldn't be able to
So,
stream.
Yes. So we're gonna say you goodbye to everyone, but to close the stream, I'm gonna put music so people can enjoy it. So,
All right. Well, thanks for having me as a co-host in this show, man.
yeah,
it's an honor.
Thank you for being here. Thank you
Yeah.
for co-hosting, because you're the main event, as always.
I am the main event. No, I'm just the co-host, and soon we're gonna do interviews with people, so that's gonna be cool. And when we
Yes.
don't have people to interview, it's just gonna be me and the 80s guy
More and more
with you guys,
interviews.
talking with you guys in the chat room. And if you like this kind of format, of course, share it with your friends. So
Yes.
who are also into this kind of stuff. If you don't have any friends who are into this kind of stuff, it's fine. It doesn't matter then.
Yes.
But if you do know some people, you can get them in, because it's all about promoting Synthwave and promoting this kind of lifestyle. It has to live. We have to keep it alive. Only we
Yeah.
can do it together.
And don't
And
forget
that's all
to
from me.
subscribe to the channel and follow. And watch also Vosto documentary. You can find the pinned link in the top of the chat. So thank you for listening to us, and see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Next time.